Hey guys, so today I just wanted to break down the mix of Peephole. This is a song that I put out with my project Night Prior. It's actually the YouTube channel here, but the song's Peephole, and it's out on all streaming platforms. So if you like what you hear, go ahead and stream it. That'd be awesome. But anyways, today I wanted to walk through the mix that we did for it here. Did everything in house except for the master. I sent that out to get done, but all the writing, production, mixing, recording did right here in my one bedroom apartment. So I'm pretty new at this whole thing. This is one of my first productions, so everything's not perfect, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out, all in all. So yeah. So the first thing we'll do is look at the mix bus. And at the very top here, you can see this is a mono plugin that I had because listening to your track in the context of the mix when you're listening to it in mono is very helpful. Right now, it's not on. This is just for reference. But under that, I have a compressor, and this is just hitting the snares and the kicks. Nothing too aggressive. You never want to do crazy compression on the mix bus because it affects everything. So you just want to be careful with what you do there. I have a channel EQ, and it's boosting a little bit of a high shelf here so you can get a little bit more of clarity in the mix. Takes the sheet off of it, and then rolling off some of the low end. I also have another channel EQ. That's boosting up here. It has a high shelf, and this is just for the sides. Here in Logic with the graphic EQ, there's a few options you have, and for this one I just did side only. It gives it a little bit more stereo width, and you can really hear it in the percussion and in the guitars. But this approach is very standard across the board. It's called top-down mixing, and any processing you do here is less processing that you have to do in the rest of the mix. So it always makes sense to start here with your mix bus and just get a little bit of processing going on, and then start working on your session and doing more dissective EQing and compression and whatever else you're gonna do. But first things first, I guess we'll check out the drums here. So I have all the drums routed to a bus, and on this bus here, I have an enveloper, and that is just so you get a little bit more attack. I have a compressor going on, and relatively slow attack and and quick release, and a little bit of soft distortion. I have a bit crusher just to add a little bit of distortion in the cymbals, and you'll hear it in the snare. I have a chorus effect, pedals, stereo delay, which you're going to hear in the snare, and then channel EQ, just rolling a little bit of the lows off and a little bit of the highs, I believe. So this is what the drums sound like. And the part of the song we're going to check out is the first verse going up through the bridge. So this is the drums on their own. Cool, so the next thing we'll check out is the bass. And the bass has very, very minimal processing going on. We have some compression. And then I don't think I have any EQ on here. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So, yeah, on the bass here, we have some compression going on here. And relatively slow attack, relatively slow release, pretty standard ratio, and threshold at about 35, it's actually 34 dB. So pretty aggressive compression going on. And then for the EQ, just rolling off a little bit of the lows. I have another EQ, and that's just taking off a little bit of the highs. So the bass on its own sounds like this. So I'll have the drums there too. Cool. So that's the bass and the drums together. Now let's take a look at the guitars. So the guitars, I actually used everything stock Logic here as far as the guitar plugins. I need to find my tracks in this mess here. But yeah, so everything is stock Logic. These are just presets that I used and adjusted them to where I wanted as far as the distortion and effects. But yeah, I didn't do there's no recording through amps. These are all amp sims, and they come stock to Logic, which is pretty awesome. I'm really happy with how the guitars turned out. And if you don't use Logic, you can go to a third party and get some just very amazing guitar amp sims. But you can't see any of the processing here, any of the effects plugins I used, because I bounced everything in place basically to get rid of all the plugins so I could add more plugins in the mix to save on CPU. But anyways, the guitars soloed out sound like this. And like I said, I feel like I got a really good sound with these guitars for it being literally just free inside of Logic. So yeah, so those are the guitars, and then with the drums and the bass. So yeah, really happy with the way that sounded. So now let's take a look at, okay, so the last thing is the synths as far as the instrumentals go. And for the synths, I don't have much processing going on. I just have some compression going on the synth bus. And the individual synths here, I don't have much going on except for just taking off some of the low end. So yeah, you can see the graphic EQs up here. And these are all the synths. So one of them I actually left most of the low end there. Actually, no, wait, that's not actually one of the synths. That's the bass, and I used a synth bass, so yeah, that's why that one's like that. But yeah, so just taking off most of the lows, taking off a little bit of the highs there. Pretty much the same thing on that one, and this one, taking even more of the lows out of it. But yeah, so the synth soloed out sounds like this. Not much compression going on there at all. Just squeezing it a little bit. Cool, so now let's look at the vocals. So So I'll solo all these out so you can hear them. And for our lead vocals here, this is the lead vocals bus. And I have a multipressor on here. And it's not doing anything too crazy drastic. It's just compressing some of the lower mid-range here. There's a little bit of a build-up, so I put this multipressor on here. And that's the nice thing about this plugin is you can compress different areas of the frequency spectrum, which is really cool. So also so these are the 3 lead vocals that I have. And I have de-essing going on. I have channel EQ. I stacked compressors on all 3 of these lead vocals because if you stack compressors, it's less that you have to do on one, so you don't get that like swelling, pumping kind of feel. I have a tube EQ here, and this is on all of them as well, and that's just adding a little bit of crispiness and in the top end, and just adding that tube EQ onto your vocal really makes it sound great. So I put that on there. And then also I have some sends, so I'm blending in some different effects here. So I'm blending in delay. So you can see them down here in the bright red. Delay, reverb. That's the backing vocal reverb. And then distortion and spread. So those are all, that's the lead vocals there. So the backing vocals, I have channel EQ, compression. I'm doing less processing there because I'm not trying to get them to cut through the mix like the lead vocals. I want them more ambient and abstract in the back. But I do have them sending to some delay and some reverb. But yeah, so all the lead vocals together sound like this. There's a hotel by the road. She checks in 'cause there's nowhere else to go. Can't help but feeling trapped inside the room as it slowly decays. She's terrified of the strangers outside. Yeah, so you can hear them all together, and they sound really good. I'm really happy with the way the vocals turned out. I know that's a difficult thing to get down most of the time, and there's still some work in my vocal production, but for me, kind of just learning, I feel like it came out really good. So I'm proud of myself. But so anyways, let's see. So we got all the vocals soloed out. So yeah, that's everything now. That's all the instrumentals. That's all the vocals. So yeah, here's everything just together. There's a hotel by the road. She checks in 'cause there's nowhere else to go. Can't help but feeling trapped inside the room as it slowly decays. She's terrified of the strangers outside. Standing there outside the door, and she can't get out. Trapped inside, losing her mind, nowhere to hide from him. It's a shame this hell has just begun. Running the halls in the dark, but there's no escape. This hotel is the darkest place. Lets people in, but it won't ever let them leave. Yeah, so that's the mix for Peephole. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about this, and yeah, hopefully you could find some value here. So appreciate you for watching the video and sticking with me here.